for the all candidates meeting. Just a couple of little things, just a reminder that you should have your envelope with your PIN and your codes on there by the 12th of October. If you don't, contact the municipal office. Voting begins on October 15th at 8:30 in the morning, online or by phone, and it will end on Election Day, the 22nd at 8 p.m. My name, for those that don't know me, is Gord Dugan. I'm the GM at MyFM, and I am your moderator for the evening. I don't know if that means police officer or what, but hopefully it'll be a nice crowd and everybody will get along. What we're going to do is we're going to give each of the candidates 2 minutes to do an opening statement. Mayor Edie has been suffering from laryngitis and cold, so she's going to use my mic because she doesn't think her voice will reach all the way to there. So we're going to start with the mayor candidates, then go to at-large, then wards 1, 2, and 3. Then we will take questions from the public after the opening statements. You're allowed one question per time. You can go back to the end of the line and ask a second question if you do have a second question. And you can direct your question to a ward, to the at-large candidates, to the mayors, or to a specific person if you wish. If it's to, for example, Ward 1, to Adam, I will give Maureen and Jerry a chance to comment on the question too if they wish, after Adam answers the question. So that's how we're going to try and roll things along. We're going to do those questions till 8:25, and then at 8:30 we're going to give the candidates another 2 minutes to do a closing statement. So we should be out of here before 9 o'clock. So first of all, we have 14 candidates running. Some of them are acclaimed. We have Board of Education trustees as well that are acclaimed, but I think we should give our candidates who have taken the time and money out of their own pocket to buy signs and everything else a hand for stepping up, and just give them a warm welcome, a warm Kincardine welcome. So I have Krista as my timer, so if you want to watch Krista when she starts holding up her sign, or oh, there she is, 30 seconds left. That will be your notice, and then your times. Look at that, we have 3 timers. Isn't that awesome? So once you get your times up, then my mic man is going to turn off your mic once your time is up. So try and wrap things up when you see those signs coming up. So we're going to start things off with mayors, and we're going to go mayors at large, Ward 1 and Ward 2, and then we're going to do the opposite on the close. So first up, in alphabetical order, I'll call on the candidate for Mayor, Ann Edie, to say her 2-minute opening statement.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ann Edie. I've decided to run for a second term as mayor of this beautiful, thriving municipality. First of all, I love living here. Born in Kincardine Hospital, I spent my early years on my parents' dairy farm, and after university came back to the town of Kincardine to teach school. Over the years, I've been involved in various volunteer activities with sports, music, environmental groups, church, and community living. Being mayor is another way to give back to my community. These are exciting times in the municipality of Kincardine, and I want to be part of them. We've made significant progress on the natural gas initiative. As mayor, I took a lead role with my partner mayors at the generic Ontario Energy Board hearing, which was crucial in moving the process forward for Southern Bruce. We needed a company like Epcor that was willing to invest $70 to $80 million in our Southern Bruce project, and we're nearly to the finish line. Bruce Telecom, the process for transitioning Bruce Telecom to a municipal corporation is now complete, with a new, very experienced board in place to lead our local telecom in this competitive business. As mayor, I was involved in this transition process. This term, we had reasonable budgets that still promoted growth with a blended rate average of around 2.5%. We are experiencing growth with the major component replacement, or MCR, starting at Bruce Power. We were able to fast track our municipal infrastructure to accommodate the new Bruce Power building in Kincardine. We need to continue to support this growth that is happening in the nuclear sector, as well as in other non-nuclear businesses. From our amazing lakeshore to our productive agriculture community, let's promote the positive and work together to make our municipality of Kincardine even better during this time of opportunity and growth. Thank you.
Our other candidate for mayor is Ron Stevens.
Well, it won't fall down, I hope. Anyways, I want to thank everybody for coming out. I certainly wish there were more young people here tonight. That's an unfortunate situation. I ran in 2010 as mayor, and during the all candidates meeting up in Tiverton, the question was asked about doing a proper audit on the municipality. And the then mayor and deputy mayor went into a song and dance of why we shouldn't do a audit, which just brings me to the reason we should be doing an audit. A lot of money's been spent here, and we don't know what all it's been spent on. And we need to find out. We need to start again with a clean slate. The only way we're going to know if your tax rate's correct is to do that audit. And so I'm recommending that. As far as the natural gas game is going, I ran in the 2018 provincial election just to get a feel for where people's brains were at, if they're asking any pertinent questions yet or not. Thankfully, some people are. The thing was, the natural gas was promoted by the provincial candidates as producing prosperity in rural Ontario, which is opening the door to the biodigester business, of which Enbridge, which was in the windmill business, is divested, and now they're going to the trough one more time to put their hand in your pocket for the biodigesters, which, through the OEB, which sets your energy and gas rates, is going to drive your energy rates through the roof. So before you go and think about retrofitting your house to accept so-called natural gas, I would like people to do a little digging in it, and I'll be providing further information later on. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move to Councillor at Large. Gord Campbell is first.
Well, I'm here tonight, and I've always been in the Kincardine area, born and raised, and born in Kincardine Hospital and raised in the North Line. And I've moved twice, so I didn't get too far away, about half a mile. So anyhow, one of my main issues are taxes. Some of the people I've been around to see, they're having a problem with the raise of taxes, that they don't think that they're getting a fair choice, because they're not getting any more money, any more for their money, I should say. And another item is, about 8 years ago, we worked on Mitchell Drive, and for a drainage problem. And it's taken to this year to finally, we got a good public works manager, and he's getting it on the menu for now. Another item I have is I wish to the extension to the main runway in the airport. Actually, they're bringing in bigger planes now for Bruce Power and OPG, so they're bringing them in to Godrich and driving up here. So I'm hoping that we can maybe make time with them and get our business back here. Another thing, our telephone, I think it needs special help, and I just hope and wish that things get along a little better than they have in the past. Another is I have supported the development and the roads and the water for different supportments and developments. And another place, when I'm talking about the runway, the Armour Wind, they donate $630,000 a year to the airport, plus they have 40,000 for each, 4,000 for each windmill. So that's enough money to help put in the runway. Thank you.
Next up, Dave Kyler.
Hi, how's everybody this evening? My name is Dave Kyler. I hope to be one of your council members in the municipality of Kincardine for the next 4 years. I would like to tell you a bit about myself. This is a new challenge for me, as I never thought I'd be interested in any form of politics as I grew up in Kincardine. I was born and raised here, but depending on who you talk to, that person may tell you it wasn't that I was raised here, but what I raised. Anyway, everyone is entitled to grow in wisdom as well as stature. I'm much older now, and I hope much wiser. My great-great-grandfather, Paddy Walker, came here in 1850. My great-great-grandfather, William Kyler, came here in 1852. Between the two families, there were 20 children. So I tell people if you're here before 1980, we're likely related somehow. I went into the workforce at a very young age, and over the years I've worked in a lot of different areas. Different types of road building, from excavation to paving, driving all types of vehicles and equipment, from pickup trucks to dozers to loaders, graders, and open pit mining trucks. I started doing that at an age where the more you knew how to do, the better your chances were of keeping a job. I began long-haul trucking in the late 70s and was away for a number of years. I worked as a contractor with my own backhoe out of Owen Sound for Bell Telephone from 86 to 91, installing copper and fiber optic cables in southwestern Ontario. That came to an end during Ray days and cutbacks. I came to the area to live in 92 with my wife. I came back to the area, actually, with my wife, Joyce, and 2 of our 5 children. Since then, I've worked in agriculture, trucking, and heavy equipment. I worked for the municipality of Kincardine for the last 23 years until I retired in July of this year. I still work in the busy seasons for my brother-in-law, nephew, helping on cash crop farm. And I haven't got time to say all the rest of it. I'll get back to it later. That's me in a nutshell. I hope it's enough for you to vote Kyler. Thank you.
Well, 1800s, I guess you got a lot to say. Next up is Laura Haight.
Good evening, everybody, and thanks for coming out. I'm Laura Haight, and I'm running for councillor at large in the municipality of Kincardine. Ken and I moved here 26 years ago. It was the best decision we ever made. We raised our 2 boys, and I'm pleased to say that they had a great childhood, great schooling, and great recreational opportunities. We're kind of at a change right now. This major component replacement that Dan was talking about is going to change Kincardine in significant ways. We will be growing. In order to be prepared for that, we need infrastructure. It's not really sexy to talk about water, roads, and sewers. They're not as keen as, say, ice rinks or splash pads or pickleball courts. But seriously, these next 4 years, if we don't invest in infrastructure, we will not be prepared for the next 40 years to come. That development then will lead to the growth in our recreation facilities and create a sustainable community for all of us to live in without raising your taxes too much. And I'm not going to promise that your taxes won't raise, because it's a careful balance between the two. I look forward to serving again, and I hope on October 22nd I can get your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Next up, Doug Kennedy.
Thanks. I'm Doug Kennedy. I moved here from St. Mary's, another small town, 30 years ago. I had the KFC franchise for 20 years. I was supposed to move here for a year, but lucky for me, I met my wife, Kathy, and I've stayed here for those 30 years. I've been in the restaurant business all my life. I've tried to be a good volunteer in the municipality, mostly to do with recreation, and that's why I'd kind of like to run for council to prove that I can make improvements in other areas. Top of the list in all municipalities in Canada is the hospital. We've got to find a way to connect our family health team with a hospital. Even in a small way, people struggle in the wintertime to walk from one building to the next. We're at the stage in this town to make a difference, and I really believe in the next 4 years, if you hire, if you vote for me, I can help make that happen. Natural gas is great to see come. It's really going to help in the business sector, but it'll help for families too, and that's a good improvement for the area. Recreation, is my love and my favorite thing to talk about. People know me. I love talking about that sort of thing. You know, we have good people in this municipality to look after our recreation and our parks and our buildings, but I really believe we can be better. You know, I really believe we can make our facilities put more pride into them. I really believe that. Our beach, unfortunately, we get bad rap because of some accidental deaths. You know, our goal should be to get that blue flag back. And I think that I'll work hard with recreation to try to do that. Thank you.
I'll move this a bit forward to give you more room. Next up is Andrew White. Oh, he's not here? I thought I saw everybody, a bum in every seat. I missed him. Okay, next up is Marie Wilson then.
Thanks, Gord. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome, and thank you all for coming. It's just really wonderful to see the democratic process working in this manner. So, my name is Marie Wilson, and you might ask, why am I running for council? It's all totally positive. I enjoyed covering council as a reporter many years ago, and now I have an opportunity to get involved. I truly want to give back to the community that my husband, Ken Battler, and I chose to make our permanent home almost 31 years ago. So I believe my experience as a local journalist with the Kincardine News for many years, my 13 years of experience with the nuclear industry, and my perspective as a business owner on the main street of Kincardine provides me with really solid background to be a Kincardine councillor. So I am interested in many aspects of municipal government, but there's not much time to talk about them here. So economic development is very close to my heart. I believe that council needs to provide a very proactive, nourishing environment that fosters economic development in our downtown cores and our business areas. And I believe they have really made some gains in this way in the last year and a half, especially with the servicing of lands, the Ontario Peninsula farmlands, plans to do servicing for Highway 9 and 21, and of course the natural gas project, which I fully support. So I also think that we really have to be aware that we are earning the public trust, and we have to be cognizant of the fact that we do hold the public trust and the public purse strings. And I will also work very tirelessly to ensure that everyone in the municipality feels they have an equal voice at the council table. Thank you very much, and I respectfully ask for your vote in October.
Thank you, Marie. Moving on to Ward 1 now. First up is Adam Cherry.
Hi, my name is Adam Cherry, and so far I came here tonight and I was looking at the crowd, and we got a lovely looking crowd here, so I just wanted to let you all know. I appreciate everybody that came out. And I'm running in Ward 1 this time. I believe in Kincardine. I want to stay in Kincardine. I'm raising a family in Kincardine, and they're all young right now. They go to St. Anthony's School. And also a couple twins as well that aren't in school at the time. But we all love it here. I've been out canvassing around Kincardine. I haven't been able to meet Ovi yet, but I'm here so we can talk later if anybody has questions as well. But during the time I've been canvassing, a lot of people have been telling me there's a few things they'd like to get changed and fixed around Kincardine. A few of it is mobility issues around the beach, also around downtown core. Some people don't like the increases in taxes all the time, and the garbage bags going up in price, the recycling all the way down at the end of near the soccer field and the baseball diamonds. Those are some things I've heard while I've been on the trail, and that's because I'm listening to all the people that I've been talking to in Kincardine, and that's one of the things I want to do is I want to have my door open and my phone available and email as well, so you can bring these concerns, or not even concerns, just improvement ideas, and I'll listen to them. I'll bring them to a vote and at a council meeting, so you'll have a voice there and you can be heard. So anyways, like I said, I love the Kincardine area, and I love meeting all you people here, and hope to continue that. And we'll see how it goes. I got to get in. I got to be voted in. And from there, you'll see what happens. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Next up is Maureen Couture.
Hello, my name is Maureen Couture, and I'm running for council in Ward 1. I've served on council for 11 of the last 15 years with extensive experience on many committees concerned with local issues, and I'm currently policy chair for planning and development, and I'm on the accessibility committee. I also serve on the AMO Planning Task Force and the Nuclear Municipal Forum. I am one of council's representatives on the Conservation Authority. Don't shoot me. I have been a resident of Kincardine for over 38 years, married to my husband Bill, a retired control technician. I have participated in many community events and organizations, including 4 years as Legion president. The economy has taken an upswing in the last few years, mainly due to the refurbishment project at Bruce Power, which has spurred new business and development. One area in which I am vitally interested is affordable housing. Real estate prices have jumped drastically over the last 4 years, leaving those who require less costly housing at a disadvantage. I believe we can offer financial incentives to developers to build or convert affordable housing so that those who work in our service industries can stay in this community. If elected, this will be one of my priorities over the next 4 years. I believe that council has made some important decisions over the last term to assist development, particularly in the area of renewal and upgrading of infrastructure such as water, wastewater, and roads. We continue to encourage developers to bring more business and residential development to our community. I believe strongly that we must continue on that path in a responsible and cost-effective manner, keeping tax increases to a minimum while stimulating development. I will work on your behalf to be an effective representative for Ward 1 and will also consider how decisions I make affect the entire municipality. Thank you.
And next up from Ward 1 is Jerry Glover.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jerry Glover. I'm the CEO of the Kincardine Family Health Team. I am not from Kincardine originally. I moved up here about 7 years ago. Thought I'd be here for about 2 or 3 years. Met my wife, have 2 kids, and now I am a Kincardinite. I deeply care about our community and I want to make a positive impact. I believe there is a bit of a disconnect between the municipality and industry. I seek the opportunity to make informed and constructive decisions that impact the quality and delivery of our services. There are many challenges related to affordability for housing, seniors, transportation, childcare, economic development, and mental health. I feel that there is a real risk for some people living in this area that cannot support or sustain their lifestyle, so it's hard for us to attract people, whether it's in healthcare or the retail sector. We need to have the welcome mat ready and be a diverse investment as opposed to the current realities that we face by putting all of our eggs in one basket. We need to ensure accountability in a manner by which our resources are considered. I've decided to run for council to improve civic engagement and to build towards a municipality that works for everyone. I'm a hard worker, and that is evident by my professional and community experiences. I previously served a term on Bruce Gray Child Family Services as their governance chair, as well as the chair of the Programs and Service Committee. I care deeply about making positive impact and progress for our community, and after years of monitoring the local landscape, I thought this was a good opportunity. I welcome your support on October 22nd. Thanks.
Thank you, Jerry. Now we move on to Ward 2, the former township of Kincardine. Linda McKee is first up.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming tonight. I've lived here for nearly 26 years. I married Kev, a dairy farmer in the area, local. Moved up here from Peel County, lived on a dairy farm. I really, really enjoyed the last 4 years. I have learned a tremendous amount about the municipality. I really love this town. It is beautiful, but we do have a lot of work ahead of us for the next 4 years. With the MCR project coming up, there is a tremendous amount of work that needs to be done, and we are going to need to invest in it. We also need to protect everything out in the country in Ward 2. We need recreation out in Burvey. We need to worry about getting the finalized things done for the gas for the town along the lake. Some of these things will help to save money. There's a lot of things that I would like to be involved in for the next 4 years, and I would really hope you would vote for me come October. Thanks.
And last but not least, Bill Stewart.
Get a little older, I need my glasses. Hello. My name is Bill Stewart, and I'm running for Ward 2 Councillor. Now, I was just down in Toronto earlier on this week and talking to Doug Ford, and I just wanted to inform the councillors, it's okay, we're not going to reduce any councillors. So all 8 of us are going to run along with the mayor. Give you some brief, because I think some people have seen my signs and they're probably trying to figure out, is this a new kid in the block? Well, let me tell you some family history. My great-great-grandfather, Whittick, came to Canada around 1850 and started farming on the 4th of Bruce. He and some fellow farmers actually put up their farm to start the Bruce Telephone Company, which we now know as Bruce Telecom. My great-grandfather, David, married a Snicker and moved into Kincardine along Princess Street. My grandfather, Reuben, partly owned and operated the Kincardine Pavilion, starting in 1920. He actually officially opened it up in 1923 with the first Old Boys Reunion. In those days, it was just called Old Boys Reunion. And he ran it until about 1941. My mother, Pat Whittick, and her brother, Bob Whittick, were born and raised in Kincardine, and at one time, their family lived to Tiverton, and in the house that was now called the King's Pearl Restaurant. I have a lot of aunts and uncles and cousins still living in the community, and I hope you're all going to vote for me. My 2 children, Lauren and Ian, are now the 6th generation to enjoy our great community of Kincardine. And me, Bill Stewart, after a successful career in the oil industry, am now retired and living at Invercuron. Why am I running for councillor? I think I'm crazy sometimes. But, you know, my family always believed in to give back to the community. I recently joined the Lions Club, and our motto in the Lions Club is, we serve, plain and simple. Oh, almost time out. So I'm going to ask everyone, and I'll have some closing comments, but I'm going to ask to trust me and vote for me, and I'll provide a big, strong voice for Ward 2. Thank you.
So there's our opening statements. If you'd like to start lining up behind the mic here, we will take 1 question per person per time. And if you have a second question, you can go to the back of the line. Right now, there's lots of room at the mic. So I might have to tell a joke to wait for people to come up. Oh, there we go. Daryl. So I would just ask that you tell me if you want to direct your question to a certain person or a certain ward, and then we'll carry on from there. So Daryl, you're first.
This is a question directed at everybody.
Okay.
Hello. Thank you for stepping up, as we put it. My name's Daryl Perry. I'm obviously a business owner in Kincardine. I'm a member of the BIA executive for Queen Street, and most importantly, a resident of Kincardine. I have a question for you. What things do you what do you think need to be done to the downtown Queen Street to make it a vibrant community destination, an attractive place for new businesses?
Okay, who would like to take on that question first? I could start we'll start here and move down for question 2 then, okay, as it was for everybody. So Ann, you can answer that if you like. I'll maybe bring my mic over to you, how's that?
Actually, when I served on the BIA as deputy mayor, I was really impressed with all the enthusiasm of the downtown merchants. I think the effort, there's grants under Spruce the Bruce, and part of our economic development next time, we have to look at ways that we can get more actual retail downtown. And in this era of online shopping, it is difficult, but I think we need to try. We've got a charming downtown, and we want to keep the retail there.
Thank you, Ann. Ron, if you'd like to answer the question, you can. It should be up. Should be on. No, try pushing it up.
That's on.
That's on.
Piece of cake. Downtown Kincardine, Kincardine in general, this is the thing that I hear from a lot of people. Like, why is Goderich, who's only got a salt mine, have such a vibrant commercial area, and Hanover, which really doesn't show a lot of manufacturing, have such a vibrant commercial area, and the same as Port Elgin, growing. It seems almost like Kincardine has hit a standstill. Nothing's moving here, you know? I mean, it's actually going backwards, and that's unfortunate. And I think a lot of it has to do, I hear this complaint from people, that over the years, businesses who have tried to come here have been basically, get out of here type of thing. So we got to open the town up. We got to. I feel bad for the downtown business section. I tell you, it's sad. It should be much more vibrant than it is, and the only way we're going to do it is to make some kind of a situation where we move forward instead of standing still or going backward. And we're going to work on that hard. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Go ahead.
Well, I
Gord,
guess
if you'd
my
like.
comment is that I think we kind of lost out in Kincardine. We should have been getting in the Giant Tiger in some of these stores in here before they got in, like they're in Port Elgin, they're in Hanover, they're in Goderich, and some of them they don't seem to want to come because everybody goes there to do their shopping. So that's kind of an issue. I don't know what the other, I'm not really a town person that much. I'm born on the farm and I come to town when I need what I need. Only sometimes I go to McDonald's for shoot the shit with the boys.
Thanks, Gord. Dave?
How do you follow that? I honestly don't know. Hello?
Block check 1, 2.
I don't really have any figures or anything like that to see what has been going on downtown. When I go out and, like in the years that I've worked for the municipality and we've gone to do something in a certain area, I've worked in all three areas, and then you see what you need to do and you get ideas from that. I can't spit any ideas out right off the top of my head, but I would have to see how much money I had to work with first and see what the ideas were that were coming up, and, you know, everybody sit down and figure out what to do with what you got.
Thanks,
Other than
Dave.
that,
Laura?
So we're still just shouting?
Yep.
I think so.
I can
Okay.
hear you.
We're good now?
Mic's on now.
Check 1. No, try your mic now.
Test 1, 2. The first question in trivia is, no, I'm just kidding. Daryl, I find it intriguing with the developments going up at the plant that we're seeing all sorts of offices downtown, which really isn't the best use of that commercial space, but I can't fault the landlords if they're going to get $15 a square foot. I talked about in my speech the investments in infrastructure. The work being done up behind the no-frills will actually service all of those lands from the North Line all the way down to the hospital. So now there'll be an area for companies to come and build, and hopefully they'll build out there. We'll have the vacancies in the downtown core. Then you focus on your shop local campaigns, your beautifications, your little spiffs to get people and draw them downtown. There's a distinct advantage, I think, in Kincardine in having a strong downtown core and big box stores out in the highway. Over time, it will get better and better, and I think key to all of this is the servicing of industrial and commercial lands throughout the municipality, not just Kincardine, but Tiverton as well.
Thanks, Laura. Doug?
Okay, I've met with a few businesses in the last couple of months about what we need to do to the downtown. And what I hear from most people is we run some events, but we can do more. Like, you know what I mean? 12 months of the year, work together as a team to promote and attract, to shop local downtown. And if I'm elected for council, I promise you that I will work towards that goal.
Thank you. Marie?
Thank you. So I believe that we do have a vibrant downtown. I mean, people flock there through the summer, and there's always the BIA is putting on promotions, and we have lots of activity when there are special events and otherwise. And I'm a business owner down there, but there is always room for improvement. And I was going to actually talk about Laura's point, was the fact that, you know, you can go down the main street, and this is a trend that has been happening, and you'll see all the parking spots are completely full, you know, at a certain time of day, but there's nobody on the main street. So once we get some of this commercial development going, and we get maybe some of these offices in other areas where it would be more appropriate for them to be, then hopefully we can attract more retailers. And one of the things I'm hearing from people is they like the shops that we have, but we need more stores, different price points, and we need more restaurants, and we need more commercial development. And how about a bowling alley? How about a theater for our young people? So competition is not bad. Competition, clusters of stores bring people to the downtown. There's also a little bit of a trend happening in terms of
Looks
okay,
like our time's
I'll
up.
pass
We
it
have
on.
1
Thank
minute
you.
for answers. So we'll go to Adam. That's okay.
Hello. For the downtown question, there's things like festivals and stuff Doug was mentioning over there, family-friendly events and such that can attract more people downtown. Other things about downtown, make sure that the lighting is all good at night when it starts to get dark. Maybe some benches, more benches, more parking, like what's mentioned about parking. That's a great one as well. Things that downtown owners can do maybe is have some sort of customer card that'll bring a customer back, like a loyalty kind of program that they can do. Other things that any other ideas that downtown owners have, they could also bring that to me, and I would bring it to a council vote as well, like I said earlier.
Okay, Maureen? Oh, let me help you there. Joe, you got that? There you go.
Test 1, 2, it's working. I think we have an absolutely great downtown. I've always thought so. Being that close to the beach and the harbor is a great asset. Recently, the BIA and Bruce Telecom have collaborated as well as with the council on the Wi-Fi downtown, which is the going thing. You must have that. I agree there's offices taking up retail space, and hopefully, and I hate to echo what everyone else is saying, but once we have some more developable lands, that some of those offices can move out and retail come back in. But I do think we have a great downtown. We have to keep working with the BIA, answer their needs, or be very attentive to their needs in certain things like snow removal and things like that. Parking as well, parking enforcement. I'm sorry, we have a 2-hour limit, and if people are going to park there all day and do something else, I don't quite agree with that. So there's all different kinds of things you can do, but I actually think we have a great downtown, and we could just keep making it better.
Thanks, Maureen. Jerry?
Juncture to cycle everybody's response, and I can say that I agree with most of the comments. I would be remiss if I don't mention from feedback I've heard from my own family and people that have come up here that it's confusing to know where to go if you're a tourist for tourism information. It keeps moving, and people aren't really sure where to go from one year to the next. Second, I do feel that one of our biggest detractions is economic development and infrastructure. If we don't have essentially a turnkey ready operation, businesses, it's not attractive for them to come in. So I concede to some of the points here, but I certainly don't want to belabor this. I feel there's some good workarounds that are possible. We just have to have some progressive, fresh ideas at the table.
Thanks. Linda?
I think we need to have the Economic Development Committee continue to work with the BIA. We've recently hired a very vibrant young lady, and I cannot think of her name at the moment, but she is full of energy. And I think, yes, Jenna Maureen said, I think she will bring a huge energy impact into that and increase activity down in the downtown area.
Good. And Bill?
Thank you. You're asking a rural person what to do with downtown. We don't have a downtown in Ward 2, but we use a lot of Tiverton and Kincardine. I think overall we probably need to develop Princess Street and start moving some of those businesses that are not traditionally retail, maybe over to some of those large homes and convert and make them into offices. Also, you know, Amazon has really taken a lot of bite out of the retail. I mean, more and more people are buying from Amazon. So we need to have some retail shops that are real specialty shops that, first of all, service us and will service the population, especially during the summer and all the seasonal people. So we need to be, like Linda said, we need to get more concentrated on some specialty retail shops. Thank you.
Thanks for your question, Daryl. Next up, if you just want to tell me your name and if you would like to direct it at any particular council.
My name is Jim Prenger. I'm a resident of Ward 1 and chair of the Pentangor Regional Economic Development Corporation. And my question is actually a very close follow-up to Daryl's, because I have a question about downtown, and in particular, what we see is a bit of a misuse of the retail space going to office space. And in other communities, they've legislated the amount of retail space that go to office space, and this question is put to both mayoral candidates, and that is, would you look to taking some more drastic action to restrict the use of office space in the downtown core?
Thank you for the question. We'll start with Ron. Would you like to go first on that one?
That's a good question. I agree with you.
Mike's right there.
Can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
We can't hear you. We've seen the creep Is that working? There we go. Okay, we've seen the creep of office space into the retail section. But then you got to ask yourself a question. Do we have the retailers to fill that space? And is the reason that the non-retail is there is to fill empty spaces that weren't being filled by the retail? Okay, otherwise you have an empty main street. So we have to look at it. I don't like all that business space downtown, right? Because it doesn't flow, right? It's not retail, and that's what people expect downtown. So we'd have to look into it and see what we can attract, and then move those businesses somewhere else.
Okay, and Ann?
Yes, I think on the other question, having natural gas will be good for our downtown too, because it will make margins better for our restaurants and our businesses. It will be cutting heating costs. And as far as the offices, we wanted those companies to come in. They are adding to our community, and they filled vacant space. Now, I too am hoping with the development at 9 and 21 at the Ontario Peninsula Farmlands, behind the big Bruce Power Building in that area, that there will be more development there. And some of the businesses, they've told me already, they're just starting. If they get more contracts, if they can get more of their employees to move here, they'll be looking for bigger spaces to set up their offices as well. Some of them have just started with a smaller office.
Okay, thank you for the question. Next up, I just need your first name. I don't need your birth date or anything like that. You can just tell me your first name and where you would like to direct your question.
Charlene, I live in Ward 1. So Ward 1 definitely, and whoever else. In 2017, 8 affordable housing units went into Kincardine. Of these 8 units, actually none went to Bruce County Housing, but they were considered affordable housing as rent was 80% of the market value. Prior to that, it was 26 years before this that affordable housing was built. So it's been a long time. How does this town plan to keep people that work retail or in the food industry here if they can't afford a place to live? What is your stance on bringing more affordable housing into this rich community?
Okay, and she wants, okay, we're going to start with Ward 1, and we're going to start with Maureen, and then we'll open it up after Ward 1 to whoever else would like to respond. But if we can start with Maureen.
Thank you. As you may remember, that was a very high priority for me in my opening statement. I think affordable housing is a very, very difficult issue. It's not easy. Developers want to make as much money as they can. They do that with high-price housing, high-price rents, and but I think there are ways to do it. I think we can do some financial incentives to builders, such as waiving some fees or forgiving some taxes, working closely with Bruce County Housing, who also provide this service, but I think we have to work really, really hard at it, and I think it's very, very important. The restaurants are losing staff terribly, and this can't go on.
Thanks, Maureen. Next up, Jerry.
Thanks for the question. This is an area that I'm quite passionate about. I'm originally from Chatham-Kenton. There are a plethora of affordable housing, and growing up, I lived in one myself, so I sympathize in terms of the lack of availability in this area. I think to Maureen's point, working with the county is a good step. Looking at surplus lands that may be available in Kincardine and offering incentives. We do have to have an examination of some of the maybe commercial or building permit fees. My brother-in-law is a builder, and one of the detractions from the municipality is the cost to do business here. So there's, I think, an onion analogy to this. We have to peel away the layers and look at the root cause. We don't need to study this for 4 years. We have to figure out what the land is and have some incentives so people can work here and be productive members of our community as opposed to commuting back and forth. It's not doing anybody any good.
Okay, and next up, Adam.
Hello, thanks for the question. I also agree with the affordable housing in Kincardine. We should have more, especially with people that are in retail and stuff like that in Kincardine and restaurants and stuff. Even the business owners, they have to hire, and if they're having employees not behaving and stuff, it's hard to get rid of them sometimes if there's nobody to replace them as well. So, and also when they talk earlier about bringing in more businesses, and so that looks like the plan. We'll need more employees as well for those retail sectors. So looking around Kincardine, finding land for development for more low-income housing, or even maybe other ideas that can be brought up. But there is definitely a big need for that, and I would also help improve that idea as well. So thank you.
Okay, and maybe one or two more people to comment on that. Anne would like to comment?
Okay, so I will just add a quick comment to that. You were talking about people that work in retail and in the service industries, and while I've been out talking to people over the last couple of weeks, I've actually had 2 conversations with seniors who have actually lived here all their working lives in the service industry, and they can't afford to stay here anymore. So they are leaving. They are going inland. And I think that's a really sad commentary, and we do need to come up with something to keep them here, as well as other people that can't afford the housing that's currently here. And there's a lack of availability as well. That's also another issue.
So as mayor, I've been on county council, and county council is responsible for social housing, but that doesn't mean, and affordable housing, that doesn't mean we can't offer some incentives and work with them. So right now, the last meeting where we talked about it, a month or so ago, Kincardine is identified as one of the areas really needing affordable housing and subsidized housing, and so is Saugeen Shores and Wyerton, and Walkerton's down maybe after that. But Kincardine and Saugeen Shores, we get graphs and information on the need. So right now, the county is renewing its efforts to find developers who will take some of the incentives. So for example, one incentive is you build so many units and so many are affordable housing and they get subsidized for 20 years, etc. And there's other examples as well.
Ron would also like to speak on this topic.
That's on, right? We're on? Okay. That is a very important question. I've been asked by quite a few people, and this doesn't go just for the young people. This goes for the older people, too. Their taxes are going through the ceiling. They can't afford to live in their houses. What's happened? Why is the price of real estate so high in this little town? Simple. These councilors, okay, and the CAO put a sustainable development fence around these towns. Okay, so you have to in-build. There's no lots. I used to be a builder. It's ridiculous. 100,000 plus for a freaking lot. Okay, you can't do it. Because the municipality is guilty of causing this problem, I'm looking at taking some municipal land, okay, that we already own, and use that for affordable housing. Okay? We got to get the costs down. What builder wants to come in and build something for nothing? Nobody. Okay, but we got a real problem, and there are solutions to it. Vote Mayor, vote me.
Okay, thanks, Ron.
Can Doug not answer?
Sure. I don't think we want to spend 15 minutes on every question, but Doug, if you'd like to answer, she would like you to answer the question if you would wish.
Sure. This is something that I deal with in business on a monthly basis. When you sit down with kids that move to this area and they tell me how much they're going to pay for rent, and I know how much that we can pay them, and I've met with probably a dozen businesses in the month. They're in the same boat, and those kids aren't staying in town. You know, they're leaving, and there's a 50% grants out there available at the cost for housing that we have to get moving forward on sooner rather than later. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Next up.
Hi, my name is Sarah. I live in downtown Kincardine on Princess Street. And you all may remember a few years ago when we had the winter from, it was cold.
From heck.
From heck. During that winter, the pipes in front of my home froze. We had no running water for a period of about 2 months, and we weren't alone. So I'm wondering, specifically to the councillors who will represent me in downtown Kincardine, our councillors at large and our Ward 1 councillors, what are you planning to do to make sure that my neighbors, as people who may not be as able-bodied as me, who are able to come to the Davidson Center to use the washroom, or who are able to drive to Sobeys to pick up water, what are you planning to do to make sure that my neighbors who are unable to drive or who are unable to get to the Davidson Center when they need to use the facilities are able to stay in their homes in the cold winter?
Thanks for the question. So you're in Ward 1. We just had Ward 1 questions, so we're going to start with maybe councillors at large who represent the entire municipality. And Dave, if you would like to respond first, we'll start with you.
There. I think that the situation pretty well dictates what you have to do. If it gets that cold that the lines are going to freeze, you have to be prepared to turn your water taps on and let them run, and do everything you can to make everything still keep going. If it does come down to a situation where you can't stay there, the water does freeze anyway, then at that time we have to put a plan into gear that helps people out to do whatever it is you have to do to get through the situation. And you can't do that until it happens. But we do need to have a plan in place for whatever happens. Other than that, I can't tell you much.
Thanks, Dave. Laura?
Thanks for the question, Sarah. And you'll note shortly after that winter, we moved up in the priority, the paving and reconstruction of Princess Street out to Broadway. Now we shouldn't have that problem on Princess Street again. At the same time, we've identified the areas where the shallowing, this is old infrastructure, so the shallow services exist, and in due course are working on those. In those times of crisis, we come in, we run temporary hose bibs to the neighbors. You talked specifically about the vulnerable. We will help in that situation, but I think too, it's neighbors who ended up doing most of the heavy lifting during a crisis like that. We are not the only municipality that's subject to it. This is old infrastructure. We're getting much more different winters than we used to we're getting the cold temperatures, but without the snow cover. We're working on it, and in fact, Dave, we do have a plan. We've identified them, and we replace them in due course.
Thanks. Doug? Okay, go to Marie.
Just a quick point with respect to how we would get people up to the Davidson Center. I mean, Kincardine is a community that is based on volunteerism. We have a lot of great volunteer drivers for different programs, and I'm sure that maybe we could have as a backup some sort of arrangement if this ever happened again, or it does, in other parts of the municipality, that we could get some volunteer drivers who I'm sure would be more than willing to help these people out.
Okay, Gord, would you like to comment on that?
Well, I just know out in the country we have to look after ourselves. But I do know that they've had some different problems here, that some of the lines are not, haven't been buried deep enough, and quite a bit of problems. So I know there's always people that's willing to give you a ride, and I think they would look at that a necessary thing to do, that if people were in desperate need, that they would put it in place, that some option would be there for you to be able to get back up there to the Davidson Center or someplace like that.
Okay, we'll go to Ward 1. We're going to go to Ward 1 where she lives, and we'll start with Jerry.
Thanks for this question, Sarah. I acutely remember that episode on Princess Street. Hazard to say, echoing some of Laura's comments, the aging infrastructure, this may happen again. We have a great community, and we do rely quite extensively on volunteers. I would hazard to say in this situation, when this would be an issue that the municipality would be helping with, that we could maybe look at sourcing out Saugeen Mobility for people with mobility issues, or having Parks and Rec maybe deliver some cases of water. I think we have to be creative. I don't know that we need to necessarily tap our volunteers at every instance. This community is a quite giving community, and sometimes the municipality has to step up and help out where we can.
Okay, Maureen?
Just to echo most of what's been said. Yes, we are a caring community. We help, we look out for each other. If things like that happen, we try and work with everybody that we can to make everybody most comfortable. And that's, the water that we brought in when we have other water issues are always very welcome. And I just think that we'll get through it, anything like that. But again, the infrastructure replacement is very important to make sure those water lines are deep enough.
Okay, and we'll leave it with Adam for one last comment.
Thank you for the question. Now, first of all, if there is something like that could happen, I would suggest possibly setting up some sort of emergency fund that we could have in Kincardine for emergency crisis like that, which wouldn't take a whole lot if we just put a little bit in there, and just build it. Just for emergencies, and also all the public buildings owned by Kincardine, if there's anything that we can use to help people if they're out of water in the winter, and also like where other people suggested, where we could put out notices and maybe get some volunteers or some organizations to help out as well. Thank you.
Here, I can't believe you haven't got that fixed. It is fixed? They dug the lines down?
They did. They did a very good job.
Okay, so wherein lays the problem? Right?
I had to drive here at 2 a.m. to pee.
Why would you yeah, but you don't do that now. It's fixed, right? Your water lines are fixed, right?
Yes, they are. They are absolutely fixed. And I'm great now. 2018 is a great year.
All right, thanks for the question. Okay, next up, and where you would like to address it.
Councilors at large and councillor for Ward 2. It's about this Parks Master Plan and the Burvey Park.
Good question.
Okay, we're going to start with Ward 2 because they haven't spoken in a while, and poor Bill's getting sleepy down there, so I'll let Bill go first. How's that sound?
It's talking about Burvey Park, and I think everyone needs to go and visit Burvey Park. I think you'd be quite embarrassed. Having such a wealthy municipality in Kincardine, I went there personally a couple of times. The equipment is so old. I guess it's, what, 1960? And I believe the equipment was purchased by the people in Burvey. I know there's a master plan, a master park plan, and I think it's going to be presented to the council on October 3rd. But truly, this park needs to be fixed ASAP, and you have my 100% full support to get it fixed.
There you go. Thank you. Linda?
Everything that Bill said is very true. Burvey Park is atrocious right at the moment. The ragweed in around the equipment, the ballpark area has not been mowed on a regular basis this summer. The Parks and Rec Department are supposed to be tracing that down with the contractor. We really need to do something about it, and yes, it's coming to council on October 3rd for the master plan, but I think we maybe need to push and maybe use some of the money that we get from the Armo Better Community Fund and put a nice park in there in the spring and get it taken care of.
Okay, thank you. Linda? You were also directing that question to councillors at large. Laura doesn't have a mic in front of her, so we'll start with Marie and work our way back. How's that?
So I was at council the other night when you made your presentation, and I would have to echo everything that's been said. I do believe that there was a very strong commitment from council, and I believe the wording was something to the extent that this will be a priority, and I believe that it is a sincere commitment, and I'm sure that after the discussion the other night and the discussion that we're having here this evening, I'm sure you're going to see some results.
Doug?
Like I said in my opening speech, when I was on the rec board about 15 years ago, once a summer we visited the 40 to 45 parks that we have in the municipality, took notes, recommendations, and you know, if we were still doing that right now, you know, I don't think there'd be an oversight like this, but I'll be all for getting that park fixed up the way it should be.
Thanks, Doug. Laura?
I too look forward to reading the master plan and what they're suggesting for the park out in Burvey and what the needs of the community are. If we're going to have green spaces, we're going to have to maintain them, and I think all of our little hamlet areas, whether it's Glamis or Burvey or Millerton, require some care.
Dave?
I have seen that park deteriorate over the last 7-8 years that I worked out in Armo. And it is a disgrace. What I can't figure out is why it has taken so long for somebody to finally say, we're going to do something about it. I don't know what I can do, but if I'm elected, I'll do whatever I can do to help it get done, if it doesn't get done.
Thank you. And Gord?
Turn it on, Gord.
Yes, yes, that's a big question. Actually, I think the whole problem is that the council, I was trying to get it on, and this is 2 years, and the point is they want to do a study, and this study is just something I don't like. I don't think it's necessary to do a study for a ballpark, and they could have had that put in place within the 1 year.
Thank you for your question. Next.
Hi, my name is Paul, and I'm not going to take up a lot of time asking everybody a question. I'm going to direct it to the two mayoral candidates. I hear a lot of excitement about all the natural gas that we're going to have brought in here, but I've been doing a little bit of research on this, and I have a concern about how we're labeling natural gas and exactly whether this is natural gas out of the ground which is natural gas in my mind, or is it some other kind of gas like biogas? Now, you mentioned this, Mr. Stevens, earlier, something about biodigesters, and I hope, you know, that we can get a little extra time for some explanation with respect to what this gas is that we're getting and whether it's going to be beneficial or not, really. Mr. Stevens?
Okay, he's directing it to you first, Ron, and then we'll let Ann speak after.
Yeah, was on, okay. Yeah, the natural gas story is kind of like the windmill story and the solar panel story, of which people got suckered. I know it's difficult to drive up and down the highway here with all the tourist buses coming to see the windmills, but we'll have to get over that. But no, it's the same thing. It's a biogas deal. It's partnered with the OFA, as was the wind.
OFA, what's
the Ontario Federation of Agriculture, and the government. And the same FIT programs are going to be in place for the biodigesters as was for the wind and the solar.
So this
okay,
is
so
gas out of the
yeah, our gas is actually targeted to be shipped to China. Okay, so as we're shipping our gas to China, don't know. I mean, this is signed agreements. Don't giggle about it. These are signed agreements. We don't use coal here in Ontario because coal's bad. Yet we shipped 31 million tons of coal out of this country last year, going to feed the 1,800 coal
Ron, we
plants.
have to move. You have 1 minute to answer the question, so we're going to move it to Ann.
Yeah, so okay, so all I'm saying to the people is before you get all excited about natural
waiting.
gas, I'm okay.
Okay. I've been on the Natural Gas Initiative, both as deputy mayor and mayor. I'm part of the 3 mayors committee. We've worked really hard, and I can assure you, biodigesters are not part of ours. The line, we've had information sessions, and the line will come from Dornoch. It'll come down Bruce Road 20, and we've got it all planned out, or built out, and it'll be just like any other place, the
So
regular
it's natural gas out of the ground.
out of the ground. Yes. And it will save, I'm on the committee. I know what is being planned. I've spent lots of time. It will save average residents in their heating businesses. We've done 2 studies up to, 20 to 25 million a year. And our municipality will benefit in many ways. Talk about cost efficiencies.
Thank you, Ann. Next up.
My name is Mike Gade. I'm with the Society of Energy Professionals. In 2014, we were very pleased to partner with the municipality of Kincardine on a health and wellness initiative. The health initiative has been great. We help fund the locum houses, doctor houses, that has helped us significantly with doctor recruitment. The wellness portion of the initiative was to fund the 5-kilometer paved trail along the B line. That was 2014. My question for the people running today is, there's approximately $500,000 in reserves for that project. The Trails Association has raised approximately $200,000, and EPCOR through their presentation have agreed to do $200,000 to $300,000 in-kind funding for that initiative. To sum up, that means there's enough money to get it done. So I'm asking the councillors and people running, including the mayors, will you support this initiative in 2019?
Okay, mayors just went last time. Thank you for the question. We'll start with councillors at large. Laura put her hand up first, so Laura, you can go first this time.
Well, it gives me a chance to say I'm thrilled that the 2018 Reunion Committee donated $40,000 to the KIP Trail, which kind of puts great reunion, great effort, great committee, which kind of puts Brad's fundraising goals over the top. I think the plan has always been, Mike, to complete the trail in conjunction when they're burying the gas lines to create those efficiencies. There's no point in building it this year if it's going to be torn up next year. And with the gas being approved and the money in the bank, I think we're ready to go, and I can't wait to be on it. I've been a keen supporter of those trails since my kids were wee.
Okay, would anybody else like to? I know Ann does. Dave, did you want to go?
I don't need to say anything.
What do you say? Okay, I'll throw it to Ann. She wants to comment.
So we really do appreciate the Society of Energy Professionals for all that they do for our health care. And as far as the KIP trail, I see Brad sitting right down there. It's a matter of coordination, as Laura said, not only with the natural gas lines, which we hope will start next year, but we're also hoping at the same time we can get some upgrades to Bruce Road 23. It's one of our county roads that desperately needs upgrades. We are currently working on that, hoping to get it in. I'm hoping, and I've been lobbying for it, to get it in the county budget for next year or to get started. So it depends on that section, but if the section where the KIP trail is ready to go, I think hopefully we can look at it next year. But we need the natural gas first.
Anybody else? Down at the end, we'll start with Bill.
I agree with it, and I support it. The only concern I have is we have a lot of traffic around certain areas, and especially around that 8 o'clock and 4 o'clock shift chains. So if we're going to build the trail, we're going to put money into it, we have to make sure it's safe. And I don't think just having a little bike trail beside the road is going to work. We really need to really think about design and keep it away from the cars. But I'm fully supporting it.
I'll just let everyone know it's not right up against the paved portion of the road. It goes on the other side of the ditch, and the safety concerns of the county and the municipality have been taken into account.
We'll go, I think, okay, go ahead.
Thanks, Mike, for speaking tonight. First, I just have to publicly express our appreciation to the Society of Energy Professionals from a physician recruitment perspective. Our community is still classified as an underserviced area, and it will probably remain that way for the next couple of years. Through your efforts and your professionals, we were able to maintain physicians here. To the second point, the most important point is the trails. Trails from our business keep people, if you're active and healthy, is prevention. So if you're active and healthy and you're up and moving, that helps keep people out of hospital and helps keep the cost down. But I just want to reach out publicly thank you on behalf of the physicians and the medical community for the support of the energy professionals. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for the question. Did you want to comment, Gord? Flip her up, Gord. There you go.
I guess one of our comments is same as Bill down there. You've got quite a few bends in that B line, and I think that the way the traffic is there, unless they keep off it for the busy traffic certain times, it's very unsafe. But I'd like to see it in away from the road.
Okay, our next question, sir.
Good evening, candidates. My name is Jack Searson from Kincardine, and I'd like to direct my question and concerns to Mayor Eadie and Ron Stevens, please. As a private pilot and owner of an aircraft for many years based at Kincardine Airport, my concerns are the underutilization of our airport, future economic development, and the way our airport has been managed in the last number of years. As you are aware, we live next to the largest nuclear facility in North America, which is beginning a 20-year refurbishment. In 2017, our runway was paved along with new LED lighting. Many people in the public were unaware that Samsung Pattern from the Armour Wind project provided most of the money for our municipality for that project. With Bruce Power and other industries locating in the area, I feel we are missing an opportunity for future growth at the airport. Economically, Goderich presently reaps the financial benefits of corporate aircraft and passengers by providing fuel accommodations and car rentals because they have a longer runway for these aircraft. The airport at Goderich is expanding their Jet A fuel tank to meet demands right now.
Okay, we have 30 seconds for a question, and we're about a minute and a half there.
Okay.
Are you ready for them to answer, or did you want to maybe make a point first?
My question is, if elected as mayor, what part will you play in looking into these concerns?
Okay. Ron, do you want to start? Push her up. Push her up, Ron. Up is on. Push up.
Okay, it's on. This just reminds me of some of the other problems we have. Okay, Godrich Airport's basically booming. You know, it's always done well for itself. And our
Not true.
Huh?
Not true.
Well, from everybody I've talked to down there seem to be doing okay. But regardless, I don't own an aircraft and I don't know that much about airports. But you know, accommodation, car rentals, that kind of thing to bring more traffic into the airport here makes perfect sense. Okay? Funding on it, I don't have a clue. I'm not the mayor. I'm not on council yet. But does it need to be looked into? Yes. Because as your mayor, what I want from the public, I want two things from the public. I want to hear your grievances and I want to hear your ideas. Okay? Because we got to get the community more involved in how to turn this town around, because it's really not doing well. There's a lot of problems here, and we got to get working on it. Thank you.
Thanks, Ron. Ann?
So as you might remember, I was on the committee as deputy mayor when we had the engineering assessment of different things at our airport, and many great ideas, and we still have the report. So we did use approximately $2 million to do the upgrades to the runway and the LED lights, as you said. The big problem is, I think the total cost of it was like $20 million for certain things, and to extend the runway because of limited space will be very, very expensive. So it's a matter of priorities for our infrastructure, and it's our airport. We maintain it. We spend money on maintenance. We put that $2 million that we could have put into other things. We put it into our airport. So I think we've been very responsible. I would have to look at the report again to see what the cost of extending the runway is, but all I remember was it was cost prohibitive at the time.
Thank you for your question. Next up, Jerry.
Comment on that, please.
Oh, okay, go ahead. It was for the mayors, but if you want to do a quick comment, Gord, go ahead.
It's just one of my big issues that I've talked to the airport manager, and this individual is right on that, because they were bringing in bigger planes or faster planes, and they need a longer runway. And also they have the property. It's not the expense of the property, it's the expense of putting in the short, the 1,000 feet runway. And another question is, yes, they get their money from Armour Wind, about $630,000 a year, plus $4,000 per windmill. So there's quite a bit of money coming in from there, and if we want to do it now, we should be doing it. Well, OPG and Bush Power especially are upgrading things, and they're going to be using it. So we lose that business. We put in fuel tanks. We've done a lot of things. So that we're going to stop something like the telephone right in the middle of it, and we're going to lose. Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Gord. Jerry.
My name's Jerry Brooks, and I think half the town here has a problem. Our biggest problem is the waste recycle out at Armo. It's closed at 3 o'clock, and it's only open to noon on Saturdays. So being closed at 3 o'clock, any working man that wants to go to the waste disposal area has to wait till Saturday, and if their Saturday is booked, they're going away, a wedding or whatever, they never get there. So why, I've asked this question before, why is the waste disposal closed at 3 o'clock? Why are those workers out there dictating their hours to the councillors so that it's not helping the normal person to get to the dump at, say, 5, 6?
Okay. Thank you, Jerry, for the question. I'm thinking maybe we'll start with the mayors and mayor candidates and then go and see if anybody else wants to comment on that. Ron went first last time. Ann, would you like to comment on that?
So as deputy mayor, I was chair of Public Works, and I think it's something we need to look at, see if we can have it open. We do have our dump open more, or our waste management center, our waste management center open. A lot of municipalities just have it open 2 or 3 days a week, and we do have it open, but I think maybe one day we could look at, we maybe need to review that.
Now, the contractors, they do get to come in after hours, But you're right, it should be open at least 2 to 3 days a week till, say, 6 o'clock, and then Saturday maybe a little longer, because people get up in the morning, get things to do, get everything ready, and then by the time they can't get to the dump by 12 o'clock.
And Ron?
I haven't been a contractor. I feel for you guys. It's ridiculous. Okay, you guys work all day. You got to dump your loads, and it's totally inconvenient. And it needs to be changed. As simple as that. Leave the dump open. I got caught in Port Elgin one time. We were doing a job, went to the dump, and it was closed. We had a load on so heavy we couldn't come back to Kincardine. So I just phoned the mayor and told the mayor, you know, you get your butt down here and open the gate, or you're paying for the motel rooms. And that got the gate open. So you might want to try that. But no, there's no excuse for that dump not being open better hours than it is, period.
Anybody else? Okay. Jerry.
First, Jack, thanks for your question. I can sympathize like everybody else here getting to the dump and it's closed. I feel just generally, living in Guelph for many years where nothing's recycled, or nothing basically is garbage, we could do a better job making Kincardine to recycle. There's oftentimes I put things into the recycling container and they're left at the side of the road. So I feel like if it has a recycling symbol on it, we could do a better job. And if I can take a minute to go back to, I believe it was Jack the pilot's question, I feel in terms of the airport, Bruce Power has this expectation going forward that some of the contractors and businesses doing work at the Bruce Power have their businesses locally. How do we expect that high-level commercial traffic to come here? And when I go down to Goderich and up to Ireton, those bigger airports seem to always be busy. And I think we could do a better job, A, supporting Bruce Power from a high level, from the commercial traffic coming in out from all the businesses that are working and living here. And my time is up. Thanks.
Okay, next question, my dear.
My name is Linda, and thank you all the people that have come out tonight to hear what the proposed council and mayors would like for our town. My question isn't, I don't have a question per se. It's like I've served on a lot of committees at work, and I've watched council meetings on TV, and things that would get me if I was running a meeting is attendance. What's the attendance, or what can your attendance be at council meetings? You can have great ideas, but if you're only there 45% of the time to 50% of the time, that's not good enough. The same with, are you prepared? If you've been given briefs to read, do you come to council meetings having read your information and be ready to give a vote or your opinion? And when it goes around the table, do you sit there and not say anything, or do you participate? You don't have to agree. I don't want everybody to always agree. You want to have a consensus when you're done, so that the good points and the bad points and in between have been brought up. And the Toronto Star had a good article about councils, and what they were saying is in the voting, in London, they have 14 people running for mayor. My friend says, what do you do? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. They said people, what they do is they go down a list and they recognize a name, they vote for that name, even if they don't know anything about that person or what they've done before. But they've been in council before, so I'll put them in again. So you need to know these type of things.
Okay, your time is up for your
Okay,
question,
be
so I'm
available.
going to throw it
Are
open
you going to be
any-
available to your constituents?
Yes, so we'll throw it open to anybody who would like to comment. We'll start, maybe Maureen's group didn't go last time, so Maureen can start.
Yes, I totally agree with you that attendance is important at council meetings. The odd time people are away on holidays naturally, and there are a few times that I've been away because I'm on another municipal event thing that I have to go to out of town, but I do try to attend every council meeting. Reading information, very important. Contributing at the table, very important. I am not known to be overly quiet, so I have spoken up from time to time. Yes, get to know your candidates. Get to know what they stand for and vote for the person that you feel would do the best job for you. And yes, I personally can say I'm available if anybody has any questions or comments.
Okay, Laura, as a former clerk you would prepare the agenda for the council in your old days. Can you answer the lady's question about whether or not councilors get it ahead of time and get a chance to read it?
Well, we get it the same time the public gets it on Friday afternoon, and I spend quite a bit of time reading my agenda and pestering municipal staff when I have questions. I'm proud of my attendance. I'm also kind of intrigued that you asked the question on others' attendance. I actually brought forward a proposal to go back to per diems to maybe spur on some better attendance among some of our members. It got defeated. I think the salary way is probably the better, but you shouldn't have to resort to that. You've run, you've got a commitment, you're going to attend, you're going to read, you're going to attend your committees, you're going to respond to your constituents. I'm pretty sure I've done all that. So, and for those of you who may be new on council this fall, it's a lot of reading. So get engaged and get engaged early, because it'll really help you out, get to know your staff, and you'll learn lots.
Thank you, Laura. I think by the comments, yeah, we'll get a few more comments, but by the opening statements, I think we can all agree that the people we have running for council here seem to be engaged, seem to be eager, and seem to be keen. I saw some hands go up at the end. We'll start maybe with Linda. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I've had pretty good attendance, I would think. I did take some days off this last couple months due to some commitments at home. I do a tremendous amount of reading, just like everybody else, on my weekend. It is a lot of work. It's a lot of reading, a lot of trying to digest everything that you're seeing in front of you, and a lot of numbers to crunch and push through. It is a big, very, very commitment. For a very part-time job, it's a big commitment.
Okay, Bill, I saw your hand go up.
We serve you. The only reason we go to council is to get your issues and concerns in front of council. We need to be 24/7. You should have full accessibility to us. We need to bring your concerns. There's lots of reading, lots of everything else. And I agree fully with Linda, is that we need to be prepared and bring our best to the table.
Okay, anybody else? I think Jerry, I saw.
I think it goes without saying that with my current capacity at the medical clinic, and I'm also the primary care designate for the LHIN, I spend a lot of time reading. I feel like that's secondary to signing up for council. That's why we're doing this, is to help lead some initiatives and be progressive. Not only would I hold the same standard for myself, I don't think I've ever missed a board meeting maybe once in 7 years, or a committee meeting. I'd have that same expectation of senior staff. I'm aware that they are provided an extra week of compensation in lieu of the committee works in council meetings. So if I'm there every week or bi-weekly, my expectation would be that senior staff are there as well to help be responsive to the concerns of council.
Okay, Adam, I'll give you a shot.
Thank you for the question as well. I also plan on attending all the council meetings. I plan on reading all the emails that are sent to me, answering all the phone calls that I'm given, and listening to everything you have to say. And like I said, I'll be here. I don't plan on missing any council days at all. So, and you can let me know 4 years from now how many I missed. So thank you.
The time is flying here. We have time for one more question, and then we're going to do closing statements. So we'll get your question. I'm sorry, my dear, but you'll get a chance when you sit beside them at council to ask them all kinds of questions. No, I'm sorry.
Good evening. Somebody earlier mentioned this is a wealthy municipality. So I'm segueing into, why is there a lack of support for animal welfare in this town? I'm involved with animal rescue. We are swamped out. I've had to more or less execute animals because we can't take them. Are you willing to go on board trying to get a TNR program going with the local vet clinics? That's a subsidized program for people with limited funds that can spay or neuter their animal to prevent unwanted cats. I'd like to see a TNR program going here. I'd like to see an animal shelter. I'd like to investigate getting an animal shelter. There's virtually no funding right now for animals in this town, and it's a disgrace. We need to get on board and help our four-legged friends.
Thank you for the question. Ron, you want to go first?
My sister has been looking after stray cats for, well, I think she was 4. But she runs the cat thing here in town, and the cost to her is out to lunch. And what I discussed with her before is that you shouldn't have to, go out, trying to campaign to raise money because, a cat needs to be fixed or it got hurt or whatever. I would like to put something in place where those who are interested in animals would be able to donate a small percentage of their taxes, which would not affect the municipality one way whatsoever, in order to help with this animal program, because it's a big deal for a lot of people and it's damned expensive, and I don't think that's a problem to fix. So yeah, we'll work on it, get it done.
Thanks, Ron. Anybody else? Davey and then Gord.
Likely a lot of people know that my wife is involved in rescuing cats. It can be very hectic at times. It can also be very bloody. But the vets have to get on board with this too and help cut the expense down for spaying and neutering. There is a program in London through a group called EVA, I believe, and they do inexpensive spays and neuters, and they do have a TNR program going. It's something to look into. I can't make any promises, but I'd be more than willing to look into it.
Thank you, Dave. That's what I wanted to hear.
Other than that, I can't say a thing. Sorry.
Okay, and Gord, I think, wanted to comment too.
Yes, I live not too far out of town, and people have a habit of dropping off stray cats. So I just had the experience here not long ago of a stray cat coming along, and actually I don't know whether my 3 cats was missing, whether they killed my cats or whether they just disappeared because they didn't get along together. It's this bad place to just drop them off, and many times.
I got 2 at my house, but my wife won't let me get rid of them. So, all right. So thank you for the.
We need to enlarge the scope here, folks, and try to get animal welfare on the radar screen.
Thanks for bringing up that topic. Appreciate it. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for your questions. That's great. So we're going to do candidate closing statements. We started on the mayor's side. We're going to start with Ward 2 and Bill Stewart at the far end. So it's going to get progressively shorter walks as we get closer and closer. So you can either do it from your own mic.
Do you want us to just pass this
Sure,
down?
you can use your own mic.
Well, thank you very much. Didn't seem to be a lot of people from Ward 2 tonight. We only really had one issue, but through my campaigning, there's quite a few other issues going on in Ward 2. Some road maintenance. We have some fairly large potholes up there swallowing some of our cars. Flooding throughout the ward. Culverts cleaning. We have some trees growing in our culverts. We have an open ditch safety issue at Kincardine. Kids Park, definitely in Burvey, one of the #1 issues. We have an arsenic problem in Armo that's getting fixed. Unfortunately, when they did the cost estimate, they underestimated, and you have an overrun of $27,000, which would probably pay for the equipment in Burvey. We also have a closed bike park at Emery Huron. We have a lake trail disappearing at Mystic Cove. We have some problems with noise levels. We have a community center to talk about in Tiverton, and we have some finishing paving along Birchwood Avenue. Lots and lots of little local issues that need to be voiced. What I'm going to do over the next 4 years, I'm going to bring a strong voice to the council. I'm full-time. I'm available 24/7. I'm willing to have anyone phone me at any time, an hour. I'll come and visit you, and we'll look at your issues and bring it forward. I have a lot of common sense, and there's not a lot of common sense out there at this age. I also have extensive business experience. I was a manager in the oil business. I have budgeting, forecasting, project manager, and developing new business and hiring staff. So I bring that all to the table. I want to bring my voice. I want to bring your concerns and get them tabled at council. Thank you very much. Thank the council, and thank also the business community for having this event, and I hope I can count on your support and vote on October 22nd. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. Linda?
First,
off, I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. It's been good to hear all your concerns and that kind of thing, but we do have a tremendous amount of work to do over the next 4 years. And I would really like to continue to be that rep for Ward 2, to hear your concerns, voice your concerns at the table, and I hope you vote for me on October 22nd.
Thanks, Linda. Jerry.
I just want to say I appreciate the opportunity, A, to be up here, and B, to have the opportunity potentially to serve you as a councillor for Ward 1. I myself have a lot of governance experience and feel that a council is akin to a board of directors, whereas there's heightened sensitivities around my sector and social services, that we have skill-based boards of directors so we can draw on all areas of weakness and strength. I agree at the same time there's a lot of issues that need to be moved forward in Kincardine. We need some serious leaders to actually move some agendas forward. There's been some stagnation in opportunities and growth, and that could be just some passive aggressiveness or complacency. We just need to move forward and look at our community as an investment and look at how we can retain our residents so that way it's affordable and we can have a good future for our families.
Thanks, Jerry. Maureen?
Just a quick wrap up for me. You've seen me for many, many years around here. I will continue to serve you, continue to work as hard as I can to bring your issues to the table and get them resolved. Affordable housing was mentioned a couple of times. Again, that's very important to me. And I will work on your behalf to ensure that development occurs in a fair, affordable fashion using development charges and other ways of financing rather than taxation, although taxation will come into it. Again, thank you so much for coming, and thanks to the Chamber for putting this on, and thanks to our moderator, and thanks again for your very great attention.
Thank you. Adam.
So I enjoyed being with all you tonight, and I heard some things that we need to improve in council and some things you want me to look into. So that's great that I know some more things tonight. I also will have my phone available, my email available. If I get a nice office, I'll have the door open for you as well. And I'm looking forward to serving each and every one of you in my community and making it better for your lives the next 4 years in Kincardine. Thank you.
Thanks, Adam. Marie.
Okay. All right, well, hello again, and to summarize, I want to be your voice on Kincardine Council as a councillor at large. I believe I have the right professional background and experience to be an effective member of council. And again, now that I am retired, I have the time, the energy, and the interest to serve if elected. And if elected, I will most certainly do my homework and ensure that any decisions I make are informed, that they are thoughtful, and they are defensible. And I will not waste council's time by showing up without having read the material ahead of time, because I've seen that happen many times covering council, and it's just not right. I also will always ask the question before I make any decision, is this decision fiscally responsible, and is it in the best interests of the ratepayers? I am a team player who actively listens and weighs what others have to say, and I will respect each council member as a representative of the public voice and do my best to work well with all of them. So if I'm going to represent you, and I hope I am, I would really like to hear what your issues are, because that's what it's all about. So I have some brochures here this evening that has my contact information. Please feel free to email or phone me. You can phone me, and I would love to discuss what you have on your mind. So thank you very much for all coming out, and I respectfully ask for your vote in October.
Thanks, Marie. Doug.
Council, I've always had a lot of respect for people that run for council and are active in council for a long time. It's a big job, big commitment, and I understand that. Anybody that knows that when I'm on committees, I do not miss meetings. I do not sit around the table, and not have an opinion, right or wrong. I think I work well with a team, and I know there's end goals that you have to work through to get things done when you're working with the municipality. The reason, I want to run for council, I think that I can bring new energy and new ideas to the table given a chance. Why do I want to do that? because I care about residents and the future of this municipality. Thank you.
Thanks, Doug. Laura.
Well, I think everyone's ready for a stretch, so I'm going to keep mine blissfully short. I want to thank you, Gord, for moderating, Ashley for organizing, and the Chamber of Commerce to bringing everybody out, and to all of you for taking the time to participate in our municipal democratic process. Be sure and vote, people, because it really does matter, as the last couple of elections have demonstrated.
Thanks, Laura. Dave.
Hi, it's me again. I'm going to finish what I started in the first place. My main goals are to save taxpayers money by making spending more cost effective. I want to learn about procedures in areas like natural gas and the new ideas coming into our areas. To attract new business and stores so we don't have to go out of town to get what we need and provide jobs so that our children can stay and grow with the whole area, not just one sector. Bruce Power is a wonderful partner in our community, but it shouldn't be the only one. Lastly, but not least, to see what can be done about providing affordable housing and transportation for seniors and people who need the help. I want to have my facts before me when I ask or answer questions, and I like gathering information all the time. I've been accused of being too forthright sometimes, but I believe in people knowing where I stand. I'll tell you this, if I'm elected and you have a question, ask me. If I can answer it, I will. If I can't, I'll tell you I'll find out and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. This being a new chapter in my life, I want to do the job to the best of my ability, but first I have to be elected to learn how. That is me in a nutshell. I hope it's enough to ask you to vote for Kyler, Councillor at Large, on October 22nd. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Dave. Gord.
Yes, well, I'd like to, always like to be fair to everybody, and I see over the last few years that some people have been left behind. And, they've been back there, as I said, 8 years, and the Burby Playground 2 years. Then I tried to get the extension for the runway for the airport when we done the main part of it, and we couldn't get support from the council. So I hope that they turn around and make a change, because we've got to make the airport as a business and make it pay. So not everybody can support for the little planes. And I want to thank you for coming tonight, and also wish for your support. Thank you.
Thanks, Gordy. Ron.
I want to really thank everybody for coming out tonight. Again, I wish there had been more younger people here, because a lot of the issues that are in this town are going to affect the young people. They're going to struggle in this town through housing, through education processes. But I've always been a team leader, be it in marketing or construction, and I'm an all-in kind of guy. Once I make a commitment, my job after that point is to build the best possible team that we can put together to make things more efficient, quicker, make quicker decisions, move things along faster, so that we can put this town into a position that it should be in. This town has the potential. I mean, I don't know how a town sitting on a beautiful chunk of lake like this can be just sitting here kind of idle, you know? The potential's there, and we can move this town forward with the right team. So on October 26th, vote me, Ron Stevens. And last point, because this is a bit of an irritation, I want you people to know this. Go Google rural Ontario biogas, okay? You gotta understand that what this gas line is a door opening to something that is not going to turn out well for you, just like the windmills. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ron. And Ann, you want my mic?
So I too thank the Chamber and my FM and everybody responsible for organizing this tonight. I wrote down some of your comments. It's always good to have public input. And my door is open. We have a policy chair system, which will try and communicate better. But as mayor, I go up to Underwood once a month to hear concerns from the northern part of our municipality. And of course, I'm available through scheduling with our staff at the 5th concession office building. So I will continue to provide good leadership as mayor for the municipality of Kincardine over the next term of council to our council members, our staff, and our residents. As mayor, I will continue to lobby at the provincial level for enhanced training in the tech and trades in our area, as well as the retrofit of our local hospital. I really feel, and Jan didn't get a chance to speak tonight, but we've been working with her, and we need workers here as well as affordable housing. And our own local kids, that's where we need to start, and also for adults. Specific projects I will support are the first phase development of 9 and 21, the business park, a combined new Tiverton Library and community center with input from the local community. We've already got some plans, engineered plans. The third, our Phragmites control project along the lakeshore. Environmental initiatives are always important to me. And expansion of our customer service pilot to all departments. The last is improvement of some of our rural roads that need it the most. So, effective economic development in the municipality is the key priority in my platform. And I see my time's up. For more information, go to my website, anneedy.com, and please support me on October 22nd.
Wow. I'm in royalty. I don't have a website. Do you have a website? I don't have a website, but I want to thank everybody. I want to thank the Kincardine Chamber of Commerce for organizing this event. I want to thank you all for coming out. And don't forget that the polls will open. I believe it is the 12th. I just checked my notes here, or the 15th. The 15th at 8:30 a.m. You can vote by phone or online. If you don't have a computer, you can go to the town hall or the library. If you would like more information, there are information sessions at Malcolm Place on October 10th, Tiverton Park Manor on the 11th, and Trillium Court on the 11th. And you can call me at my FM, and I'll tell you that over the phone in person if you don't have that information written down in front of you. So if you need anything else, let us know. Thank you again. How about a hand for all these candidates that came out here today? I'm sorry we didn't get your question, Jan. We just ran out of time. All right, thanks again, and drive safe, everybody.
Bladder cancer. It's the 5th most common cancer in Canada. The most common symptom of bladder cancer is blood in the urine. Please, don't ignore this warning sign. If you see red, see your doctor. For information and support, visit cred.ca.
For 25 years, you've been helping to make our roads safer by doing the right thing. You've been the designated driver, you've stayed over, called home, you've called a cab or a friend, and planned ahead. Let's keep doing the right thing. Support sober driving by getting yourself and your friends home safely. Do the right thing. Visit ArriveAlive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive. Drive sober.
No! Stupid! Go to your room right now!
What are you teaching your child?
No! Mine's stupid.
Children see, children learn.
Bud, color on paper, not the wall. Let's clean this up. I'll get you some, okay?
Your actions become their actions.
Here, draw on your own paper.
Learn to guide your child in a positive way at childrenseechildrenlearn.ca.
Possibility. It's not the province of luck. It's a human project, built by all of us. The ones who see promise, and the ones who prove them right. Possibility transforms our communities. It's something we create together. Behind every changed life is someone who made it happen. Together, we are possibility.
I actually thought, this is it, I'm going to die in this collision. I thought that I wasn't going to come out of that car.
OPP members stop vehicles on highways across Ontario every day, yet drivers passing emergency vehicles often don't move over or slow down.
There's absolutely no reason that a police officer, an ambulance worker, or a firefighter has to lose his life because people won't take that extra 2 seconds to move over into the next lane. Absolutely no reason.
What kind of show do you want to see on Rogers TV? What interests you? Log on to rogerstv.com, fill out a show proposal, and tell us about your segment idea. We want to know what you want to see. Rogers TV, only on Rogers.